Hello everyone and welcome back. I've got a new video and this time it's Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 20. And if the One Piece video was a week late, well, almost 2 weeks late, this one is almost a month late because the new chapter is tomorrow. As with the other one, been struggling to find time, and I always find the 40-page covering of Boruto very daunting. But I do love to talk about it. I love Boruto. Boruto's my favourite ongoing manga at the moment, I swear. So let's dive on in. So we open up. Do they always have a cover? I can't remember. But they've got a nice cover. The title is 20 Because of Love. And it's Konohamaru, which is fitting because obviously there's the whole love dynamic between Matsuri and Konohamaru. Don't know if that's ominous for his survivability or not. I think most people think he's probably cooked, but we'll see. And, speaking of cooked, first page, Konohamaru looks in absolute agony here. And, Matsuri's just throwing the threats, would you whine too much, we'll snap in your neck, shut you up. Or, as we see in the bottom, would you rather keep chatting until I devour you? And, I'll let you choose Konohamaru-chan. Emphasis on the Konohamaru-chan. It feels a bit snarky, definitely. But this close-up on Konohamaru's eye, maybe he's got a plan afoot. And it looks like it is some sort of plan, because he's thinking back to what Shikamaru was saying to him earlier about befriending the Shinju. And we see in the bottom half that he's mentioning that, and the top half as well, that if she devours him, she won't be able to speak to him again, and that was apparently the happiest moment of her short life so far. So it gets Matsuri talking, and she is, as we've seen through these recent chapters, she is very confused about the human emotions of assumedly Moegi affecting her, and she doesn't like it. She finds Konohamaru's existence dangerous to her because of how he affects her. So it stalled the attack, I guess, for a bit, but you can see she's yelling now. She says, "I feel compelled to devour you." And the bottom half, oh my god, Konohamaru just gets impaled in the back. Probably not too deep, but obviously very, very painful, especially judging by his expression. But we don't get to see the conclusion yet of Konohamaru and Matsuri, because we're going to shift to the other battlefield, and Araya is doing a new jutsu, wind-style sandstorm blast, seemingly to disperse the iron sand. But unfortunately, as we see here, it's not very effective, and Araya is sent flying. So it is now Mitsuki's turn to enter the fray and do his own attack. So as we see here, Sage Mitsuki actually does a really good job and actually pushes Ryu back. So great start for Mitsuki, but unfortunately, as we see in the next page, he uses Araya as a shield, and Mitsuki, being soft-hearted, kind-hearted person, I guess he is, holds his attack, and it just leaves him open for a Ryu counter, and that could well be it for Mitsuki. So carrying on, Mitsuki is sent flying, and Sarada obviously concerned. But before Mitsuki can recover, we see that Ryu is now controlling him with the iron sand. And not only that, he's controlling Araya too. So massive advantage Ryu at the moment, to the point Araya just yells at Yodo and Sarada to just run and forget them. But as we see at the bottom here, Ryu doesn't see the point in killing them all now. He seems to have something planned in motion. Next page will answer what that is. So it looks like he's using them as hostages to try and get more information about Boruto and accomplices and whatever. But Mitsuki is not having any of it. He thinks it's all pointless because he'll just kill them anyway. So don't tell him anything, just run, right? And next page, Yodo, who is quickly becoming one of my least favourite characters. I think she's annoying, useless, and well, so many bad things, she has now decided to try and coerce Sarada into revealing anything she knows about Boruto. And obviously in the bottom half we see here, Sarada is not having any of it. She outright refuses. So good on her. So yeah, Sarada, true to her gun, says she would never sell a friend. But then she also states she doesn't have intel to share. And she gets, interestingly, a flashback with her conversation with Sumire, where... But where they talked about how Boruto intentionally didn't reveal anything to them, so they'd have like no intel, and that they could. And we see in the bottom half of the page here that they could live freely in Konoha. It's all intentionally where he kind of kept to himself and didn't let them know anything to protect them, basically. But Yodo has also seemingly pegged that Sarada has feelings for Boruto. And we see in the next page, she kind of just hammers home that point about love and whatnot, to the point where she gets into the bottom panel where she reveals that she has similar feelings for Shinki. And I guess Ryu's getting sick of this whole him being ignored. He's just like, should I just kill you? You're just ignoring me now. So they let the cat out of the bag that they have no intel, and Ryu seems to be convinced that they have like no negotiating power. So that's that, right? But it appears Yodo has a plan. And with everything Yodo's done so far, I'm sure this is going to go absolutely amazingly. She basically offers her sensory abilities to Ryu, to the Shinju, I guess. Arai is obviously not very happy about that. But she's like, in the next page, I'll get you whatever intel you want, just let the others go. And Ryu's silent. I don't know if that means he's, thinking about it, considering it. But we won't find out yet, because scene jump again, we're going back to Matsuri and Konohamaru looks in even more pain than before. She's really closing in on him now. But just as it seems hopeless for Konohamaru, Matsuri starts crying. And she doesn't understand it, but Konohamaru sees it exactly and yells out to her. So she clearly is now focusing on him. She has this whole internal monologue of how her heart's racing, and she doesn't, about talking about the liquid coming from her eyes, she doesn't understand its tears. And Konohamaru's clearly manipulating her at this point, that she, in saying she doesn't really want to kill him. So he could have done this from the start. He definitely fumbled this by not liking her, calling him Konohamaru-chan, but maybe he's recovering it. Right, so a lot of stuff goes on in these next 2 pages. It's really weird. So we change scene. We're going to the other Shinju, and they're minding their own business, right? But Jura starts crying as well. So that's interesting. See what that will mean. But we don't get to hear what Jura has to say about that. No internal thoughts, because we just move on. And interestingly, Hidari's just looking stoic as ever. But Konohamaru's plan is for Matsuri and him to hold hands, apparently. So he continues his little ruse of like how holding hands is how special relationships start. And clearly, I guess she's fallen for it because she reaches out. They hold hands, and if it wasn't clear where this was going, we then get a flashback of Shikamaru's conversation with Konohamaru about making friends with the Shinju, winning them over, and then we know what he said next: betray them. So I'm looking forward to what happens on the next page. He just absolutely blasts her with a double Rasengan, dedicating 2 full pages to this double Rasengan with Shikamaru just the last words of the flashback: betray them. So cold. One of Konohamaru's best moments this arc, because he's been fumbling so hard. So it's good to see him actually come through for a change. more impressively, actually, as we see in the next page, it was a double giant Rasengan. I think we've only seen giant Rasengans when, but with like Naruto and Jiraiya when they were in Sage mode. So to do it outside of Sage mode is quite impressive. But ominously, at the bottom of this page, we get Konohamaru saying, it's not Konohamaru, sorry, Shikamaru getting the flashback of Konohamaru saying, "Did your heart just reel just now? Did your heart reel just now?" And the next page, this whole amalgamation of panels seems to be Konohamaru seeing Matsuri call out Konohamaru-chan, and his heart reels. He's going to falter. So he's going to fumble again by the looks of it. But yes, as I said, we actually get to see Jura comment over what's happening after this giant double Rasengan, where Matsuri let herself get full victim to a powerful counterattack because she let love deceive her. But he says in the last panel on this page, and also because of love, Sarasobi Konohamaru, and we move on to the next page, fell prey to the doubt and foolishly let victory slip away from his grasp. And you see Matsuri has recovered and countered, and Konohamaru fumbled again. Unfortunately, he is not getting much love in Boruto Twin Blue Vortex. It's unfortunate. Not just Twin Blue Vortex, just Boruto in general. He's been handled so poorly. Just give my man a moment to shine, please. And speaking of fumbled, we changed to the Ryu fight, and Yodo's cooked. She's been impaled. So honestly, don't like Yodo, so bye Felicia. She's done. Oh, no. And the whole reason for Ryu just doing that is because he just rejects her offer and doesn't like her talking down to him, apparently. He gets annoyed easily. Because honestly, why would they need her sentry abilities anyway? He's got probably better ones anyway, and if they wanted her sentry abilities, they could just devour her and make her a Shinju and just use her that way. She really has no bargaining power. So Sarada shows some concern for Yodo because someone has to, I guess. But unfortunately, before she can do anything, Ryu uses his Iron Sand to grab her and confidently, now exclaims that everyone's under control. He's got all three of the still not fucked people, and obviously Yodo's down for the count. But at the end, maybe Yodo's going to play one last part in that she can hear something. What is it? I can't actually... No, I do think I remember from reading it a month ago. But let's see. So it looks here like Yodo's doing like an Android 16 from the Cell arc, where instead of Android 16 inspiring Gohan, it's Yodo inspiring Sarada. She senses that Sarada doesn't really know herself, and that she, as we see in the bottom here, she's deluding herself subconsciously, apparently. Sarada's getting confused, but she's saying in the next page that there's power that she's letting rot, and we all know from seeing it before the time skip even that she unlocked the Mangekyo. They're obviously talking about the Mangekyo, but maybe even Sarah doesn't even know she unlocked it, because the only person who saw her unlock it was Sasuke, who immediately went and saved Boruto, so she might not even know she has it. But just before she can contemplate all that, Ryu seems to control Sarada and wants her to deliver the finishing blow to Yodo. Yodo seems to detect that Sarada is, subconsciously or not, holding back, and urges her that she can use her power for something other than the greater good. And she thinks, and Sarada immediately thinks of Boruto. In fact, Yodo seems to have the same thoughts in mind, because she's saying she can use that power for the special person in life to protect them. And we get a close-up of Sarada activating her regular Sharingan. And then we see on the next page that Ryu's Iron Sand starts to disperse and obviously free Sarada, free Mitsuki, and free Araya. It's revealed here that the reason for the iron sand dispersing is it's getting sucked into some sort of black hole. And on the next page, Mitsuki very quickly realizes that Sarada is the one controlling this. And we finish with a close-up of Sarada's Mangekyo, and they sort of do it over 2 pages. The last panel's really cool. I love the one where she just kind of turns her head, I guess, towards Mitsuki, or something, and it's just a nice shot of her Mangekyo. I guess it's the first time Mitsuki's seen the Mangekyo, because from what I've inferred from this chapter is that Sarada had no idea she had the Mangekyo, and so this is her first time activating it since awakening it back in the pre-time skip. So it's all exciting to see what will happen. The leaks have already started coming out, but I'm trying to ignore them to get all this shock when it comes out tomorrow. But I'm looking forward to what Sarada's Mangekyo can do. It's already looking to be a hard counter to Ryu's Iron Sand, so this could be the turn in the battle that they've needed for so long, because if he can just get rid of his Iron Sand, advantage them, I guess. But we will see tomorrow. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.